Now that we have seen different ways to read different types of files using Java and how we can process the data that we get from those files, let's talk about writing to files. We are used to outputting everything on the screen using print statements, so we output whatever result we have on the console. What if we want to write that result into a file? In order for us to be able to do that, we will need to use File Writer. So first of all, what is File Writer? File Writer is a Java class that allows writing the output to files. The general syntax is gonna be File Writer, give it a name, is equal to new file writer, and in the parentheses we'll provide the name of the output file along with its extension. Now before jumping into code, we will need to just review some notes. First of all, we'll need to throw or handle IO exception. And to write anything to files, we will be using the write method. The argument of that method are what's going to be written to the file. We'll need to specify the output file's name and extension, and I mentioned that again because I want to mention those 2 points. If the file does not exist, File Writer will create the file for you. So you'll not worry about something that's called file not found, for example. If the file exists, then File Writer will overwrite the contents of the file. So keep in mind, File Writer will not append to your file, will not add to whatever you have on the file. It's going to completely replace whatever in the file with whatever you're writing. Now you must close the File Writer using the close method, otherwise you will not get any output. This is usually done in the finally block. You can also do it right after your code. The reason I said it's usually done in the finally block because as we have learned, the finally block is used for cleanup, and this is considered some sort of cleanup because it's always a good practice to flush the stream using the flush method. So let's see an example of how we can do this. So let's go ahead and create a class, and let's name this class something like writing to files. Obviously we need a main method. So in my main method I will need to start creating my file writer. So first of all, I will create a file writer. I'll set it to null. So file writer, I'll call this fr is equal to null. I'm not initializing it with anything right now. I'm just setting it to null. And this is going to help me along the way when I try to flush, because it is not going to have access to the try block, and this, if you don't do this, it's going to create a problem for you. Now what I need to do is I need to output something. So I will initialize my file writer, and actually it needs to be fw because it's file writer. So the name doesn't matter, but it's more convenient like this. So fw is equal to new file writer, and again in here I will need to specify the output file name, so I'll call it my output.txt. Now as you can see, I have an error here because I need to handle the exception. So surround with try and catch, which is an easy way of handling the exception instead of writing it yourself. So now what I'll need to do is fw.write, and in here I will just I didn't type cpuf, it's just by typed by Eclipse. So I'll say hello from Java class. Now let's do something. Let's try to do this without closing the file writer. Around this, everything is fine. And let's just, to make sure that everything ran fine, let's just print the system.out.print done writing. So if I see this, I know it reached this line. Done writing. So let's go here. I see a file called my output, which was not here. So just to show you, I will go ahead and delete this. And I will run my application again. Done writing. File is here. Open it. Nothing. Why don't I have anything? The answer for that is because I did not close my file writer. So what I'll need to do is, after my catch, I will say finally. First of all, let's do it here, and then I'll show you how to do it in the finally. So fw.close. Now let's do this again. Done writing. If I open this, now as you can see, hello from my Java class. Now let's try to do something else. For the second time, save this. Remember, we had a sentence that says hello from my Java class. So if I run it back again, as you can see, the previous content got removed, and this is the new content right now. So this is again to show you that file writer will replace the contents of the file if the file exists. Now let's see how we can do this close in the finally part of the try and catch. So I'll say finally. I will come here and I will say file writer dot close. So fw dot close, and it's gonna complain because I need to surround it with another try and catch. Okay, and we also can flush the stream, which is just to clean up the stream. And now if I run this, it is going to basically produce the same thing. Hello from Java class for the second time. Now, can I create CSV files using file writer? The answer is yes. So let me just say I will create a file called myoutput.csv, and then since it's CSV, then I need to separate it by comma. So column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3. And let me just do this. Come here and say value 1, value 2, and value 3. And let me run this. Done writing. As you can see, I have another one that's called my output.csv. Open with Microsoft Excel, and here you go. Now, why do I have this? Is because I didn't add a new line. So we can just add a new line, and that should fix it. So open with this, and it should fix it. So let's just, here we go. So we have, this is my first line, this is my second line. So I can create CSV files using file writer. You can create different files, you can add different content in there.